bringing Luanne into the space via Zoom, via the live on my phone. And what?
How does that look?
God.
Oh my God.
There you go.
That is absolutely awesome. Thank you, Luanne. See what happens when things don't work out, everybody. When things don't work out, then something else gives the opportunity for something else to work out. Now, why am I echoing? Is it me?
No,
hang on. Let me end that. I'm echoing.
So,
that doesn't matter.
No, because we had Zoom on, so.
Beautiful. It's all happening. Okay, thank you for joining us, ladies. This is Spiritual Wellness Coaching, brought to you by our wellness community. My name is Michelle Scott. For those who don't know me, I'm the founder of our wellness community. I'm also a positive psychology coach, holistic counselor, and numerologist. Okay, and what I love is all the many ways in which we can be well in life. So you know, I'm just always spruiking wellness, always spruiking the tools, always spruiking you know, any and all of the beautiful people in the wellness field. And so you know, these coaching sessions each and every week are going to be about sharing all of that, and I'll be bringing in beautiful guests to share their knowing and knowledge with you too. And this week we've got Luanne Mareen. Now, Luanne Mareen is a leading expert in scientific hand analysis, but also a business mentor, also a spiritual teacher, gifted healer, so many tools in Luanne's kit, and she's going to tell you all about it in a moment. And you know, and after that, what Luanne's going to do is give us this beautiful insight into hand analysis. And for all of those you know, struggling with meaning and purpose, we've been talking about this a lot on KC Radio 97.7 FM every Tuesday, folks, 3 to 4 p.m. We have a beautiful wellness talk show. And Luanne and I talked about it on radio last week. We're talking about meaning and purpose. And you know what? Honestly, if you love hands and everything about, you know, hand analysis, it's all there in the map of your hands. So Luanne Mareen, welcome. Spiritual Wellness Coaching. Take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Always great to talk to you, Michelle, and be part of your amazing community. I know. Excuse my voice. I mean, doing a bit of talking and all that, so a bit sexy today. So
you've got the sexy voice going on.
Oh, I know, but yeah, we got
love it.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
Yes. So what would you like to talk about, Michelle?
So, darling, well, firstly, as I said, a business mentor, spiritual teacher. Tell us a little bit about how you got to hand analysis, darling. Just the short version, because you do have a big story.
So, hand analysis. I think to cut it really short is I was looking for purpose. I was looking for what I was really here to do, and doing lots of trainings. Like I know a lot of people, you know, in your community and my community. I heard you on the radio today, and you said, you know, there was something I want to know me. I want to know who I am. Well, I heard you, and that's what I wanted. And I was looking everywhere, couldn't find it. One of my friends actually mentioned to me, oh, there's this lady that reads hands. I'm like, oh, no, I don't do palmistry, or I don't do any of that stuff. That's just BS. She said, no, it's a scientific method. So I had my hands read. I had my purpose clarified. I had it validated because I really knew in my heart of hearts, I was really truthful to myself. That was kind of my desire. And I set on that track. And that was 12 years ago. So my hands say I'm here to do business. I'm here to help healers. I'm here to teach purpose, spiritual mentor, all of that. And it doesn't say, it's been, you know, I've been in different parts of that the whole way. So, but if I ever get off track, I was go back. What's happening? What's going on? Yeah.
I love that. As you say, I love it. I love that. Firstly, you know, we have that. Firstly, there's that doubt and that disbelief. But what I love, and I've heard you speak so many times, what I love is that when you found hand analysis and when you got that feedback, it actually tapped into things some things you didn't know, but a lot of the feelings you already had and didn't know why you had that desire. You didn't know why you had that vision. You didn't know why you felt the way that you felt and did what you did. And it confirmed it.
It did. It really, and we talked about this last week on your radio show, right? At Agreement. And it's like growing up, there's things that we do as children that really come natural to us, and we find our joy there. And that is what purpose is. Purpose is joy. Like I always say, it's not a business, that's an expression of that. But it's when we grow up and we're like, oh, we need to go to uni, or we need to do here, we need to do what mum said, I'd make them proud. When really it's those things we used to play with when, you know, or do when we were younger. And
yes,
that's the, you know, that's where it is. So,
yeah. I love it. Exactly. Whatever we are here to do, we're doing from the moment we are born. And so, Luanne, then we get to hand analysis, and it's scientific hand analysis. So, explain to us what it is or isn't.
Sure. Okay. I always like to start off with what it actually isn't, because, you know, you said, oh, who's interested in hands? And like, some people are interested. Some people they know that there's a myth about it. But what it isn't is a psychic reading. It's not a psychic reading. You do not have to be intuitive to learn this. And it's based on, you know, palmistry, which has been around forever, just like numerology and astrology. Yes. But it's an ancient art. So palmistry, and then the scientific development, Richard Unger, if you want to look up him, he's the creator of this work. It's been around 34 years. And so he read every palmistry book. There's a lot of weird stuff in palmistry as well, you know, so he threw out what he couldn't prove, because he's very scientific and he's very psychology based. And he calls it, you know, our fingerprints. He threw out, and so the fingerprints, he created the system, and it's basically patterns. You can read, you know, read a pattern. You can read your life purpose. So our fingerprints are formed 16 weeks in utero. Right, the soul comes in. It's got its map, and you can find it in many other places. I've just found this to be a very accurate and simple way.
Yes.
Your soul comes in, and then from the fingerprints, because they never change. Palmistry has, there's different in palmistry books. Some lines will be, you know, some lines are called different things, but they mean the same. But the lines can change because that's our personality, our personality psychology. So that's the neural pathways, and that fascinated me. That hundreds of thousands of hands have been analysed, and this is the system. So it's basically a system.
I love that. Yeah, and I love that, and how you say, because I remember studying palmistry at Visionary all those many years ago.
I came to one of your classes.
Exactly, Michelle. And so you know what I've had the pleasure of seeing, because I learned it it was 2003 or 2004, so almost 20 years ago. Just a couple of years short. And so because I learned it then, I knew what my hands looked like then. And I've been able to see the lines on my hands have absolutely changed over these past many years as I have changed. But as you say, the fingerprints stay the same. So you start, how do you start your readings? Do you start with the...
I do.
How do you start?
So I do. So basically I start with the hand. So this is... I'll show you that. And I'm so excited because I have your prints from 10 years ago. It was 10 years ago, Michelle. All right. And but basically I get the prints here. So this is a beautiful thing. You don't need to be in front of me. We basically get on a Zoom. I send out a print. Yeah. And so we're looking at everything. But when people first learn this, they learn the soul, what the soul wants to come. And so these are the fingerprints. I identify what's in there. And then depending on the pattern, there's three things that come out of the fingerprints in the soul psychology. There's your foundation, which is your life score, which is kind of the flavor of your life. You think of it as a playground. You've come here to learn, you know, to master a certain thing. And there's 4 different schools, and we all resonate with them on a certain level, right? You'd resonate with certain things. Yeah. But there's one we've come to really master. So so we have to, that sets you up for your purpose and your life lessons. The second thing, excuse my voice, is the life lesson, which is like our shadow, right? Yeah. And these are the challenges. Again, we talked about this, like if we came on this planet, reincarnated this time, and everything was just hunky-dory and just normal, like what a boring place, right? We've got to have challenges. Yeah, and we talked about that meaning, because when we, you know, the heroine's journey, when we get challenged and we get through it, we have a sense of accomplishment. It's like, wow, I did that. I really do. So those things in our hands are called our life lessons.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the fingerprint, some of us have 3 life lessons, some have 1, whatever on a soul level you've wanted to do. Some of us have 9, like it doesn't matter. It is what it is. And so I explain these life lessons because we're really here to flip these around. We're really here to be friends with them and embrace them. And even though they shit us sometimes, excuse my language, or they really challenge us, they can really floor us if we're not conscious of them.
Yeah.
So that's, if you're conscious of them, you can see them coming, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm just on this. I need to course correct. And then the third thing is your life purpose. So this is where the joy is, the bliss is, the flow is. And of course, we're having fun going through the different, the school, the lessons to the purpose, but you can't jump to go straight to the top. You got to go through.
Exactly. And you can't do that anywhere in life, can you? You've got to earn your stripes.
No, exactly. Even though we want to, and then it always bites us in the bum, it's like, like the game of snakes and ladders. I kind of like, we're going up the
going up,
back down.
Hit a bloody mouth, hit the mouth of the snake, and down you go.
Exactly. So those are the things in there. Yeah.
Right. Lovely. So that's how you start. You start with, and as you say, you don't need to be in front of people anymore. Not in this, not in these days and times. And and then and also, of course, you've extended your knowledge so that you do also look at the lines on the hands. You look at shape of fingers, shapes of thumbs, and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, because it's like I said, there's 2 maps in the hand. There's the soul map, right? Your soul, your purpose, and then there's your personality map. Now that's the length of your fingers, how bent your thumbs are back, and different lines. The way you relate to other people, the way you want to receive love, the way you think. So and that can change, right? Because we can change. So that is the personality that supports the soul. And you cannot ignore it. You've got to, again, bring it all together. So, for instance, like my personality is, I'm a really deep thinker. I think long, but I'm very logical as well. And so if I ignored that and someone said, oh, no, just make the decision away and make it, I'm like, that's actually not my design. I can't, I've got to let myself really see those options, and then I can do it. But a person who's got a shorter thinking style, I can go boom, boom, boom.
That's probably me with the short finger.
I looked at
the short fingers. You got the beautiful long fingers.
Yeah, well, it's actually the headline, right? A headline. But again, it shows up. It's always a theme in your hands. Like I've got very airy, straight, long hand fingers. Air shape, airy. You think air. You think no boundaries. Yes. Right, a very square hand is more earthy type. So they're not changeable as quick, but they're very loyal, right? They're very focused,
solid.
Yes, and so that's the personality, because it can change, but we can't ignore that. Like if I'm speaking to you, I'm like, oh, I can't make Michelle. Yours is not totally. Yours is earth and air, so there's a bit of both. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not going to make a rash decision where the air wants to go. Oh, let's just it's all possible, right? It's all possible. Yeah. But then you've got other markings in your hands that show that, right? So this is one beautiful thing, and I love, because I saw your hands today, is the gift markings.
I love that. So when you're doing, so we thought for our audience that because Luanne, I've been to a number of Luanne's events, so I'd had my how do you say your finger?
Hands analysed.
Blotting. You're blotting.
Oh, ink sheets. Yes.
That's
you did this.
I'd already done that, and I took some photos for Luanne, and so just to get an idea, audience, of what it's like for Luanne when she's in session with her beautiful clients. So I know that I'm School of Love, so you take it from there, doll.
Yeah, sure. So how much do you want me to tell?
Oh, well, not don't give all my secrets away, but we'll do a lovely maybe 5 to 8 minutes, just so the audience can get an idea of how coming to see you or getting their hands done can really give some insight into who they are, both personality and from that soul perspective.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess the first thing, and I was thinking, like, I don't know, like, after all these years, have we had a full reading with each other?
I don't think
No,
I have.
we have
I
not.
don't
So
think I have.
we'll organise that. So
Yes.
basically, what I want to start out with is, but yeah, that's because I looked at your hands, and I've got Michelle's hands 10 years apart.
Unbelievable.
So I know, I was like, oh. So that was in the Gold Coast when we went up.
Yeah, that's right. Got us on purpose.
Yeah. So of course the thing, your purpose is not going to change, and your school and that. So, but again, as like 10 years later, you've changed and you've experienced different things and things like that. So the information, like I have people come back for readings all the time, even though you think, well, I already know it, but no, because gift markings and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how you want to express it. Like this is the map. Yeah. You can express it in different ways. So I just remember back then, I mean, your school of love. So let's start with the school, which is your foundation.
Yeah.
Just the school of love. I mean, it's all about emotional vulnerability. You're here to learn self-love, unconditional love for yourself and others, right?
Yeah.
And in that school of love, it's about having, feeling your feelings and speaking your feelings. And in the setup in that, because there's also there's a fear of, in the school of love, each school's got their own stuff. So in the school of love, it's like, if I really speak my truth and be vulnerable, they won't like me anymore. There's a fear of rejection or criticism.
Yeah.
Right. So you're always thinking before you speak your truth in that. And when I say speak your truth, it's not just coming out, boom, it's like feeling everything first.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And it's in the setup of that. Yeah. So what I find mostly, well, not mostly, but the school of love, it's like, especially you've done so much work, so you're so good at it now, but it's like, even as children, we're like, can I say a situation arises, somebody says something to you and like, what? Like how?
Definitely.
Yeah. And so you're either going to stuff that feeling down, that's only going to come out later on somewhere in an explosion. So there's this beautiful balance for that. But the beautiful thing about School of Love is that you have emotional clarity. When you know emotionally, you know. So that's the school, right? And
but you're quite right there, Lou, that it's only as I got stronger in getting to know, understand, and like myself unconditionally. And the moments that I've been strong in that core, then I've absolutely been able to feel the feeling and articulate the feeling, speaking from the heart space, and it's worked out beautifully. But if I'm feeling vulnerable or I'm going through something and my core is feeling a bit shaky, a bit self-doubty, then I'm absolutely overly sensitive and I'm absolutely hurt by every single thing that is said and done that isn't about me, that becomes about me. And it's very, it's very painful.
It's very School of Love, right? So it's very, and it is, so it's okay to say it, and it's so you can't just go, oh, go and sort it out, Michelle. Go and feel. Like everyone doesn't want to be rejected, right? But especially in your school, it can come up.
Definitely.
And so, feeling, and you can go into emotional overwhelm.
Yes.
So we can go deeper into that, but that's probably the first thing.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to just go to kind of probably. Let's go into, well, this is interesting because do you want to go to your lesson or do you want to go to one of your purposes?
Go to a lesson.
Okay. You've got one, which is good, right?
Yeah, that's great.
That is so good.
It's a big one. It's a big one.
That's the thing, right? Just because you have one doesn't mean it's less than somebody who's got three. It's like, I'm going to give it to you hardcore. So your life lesson, and again, we never get rid of these, but we are conscious of it, and it's our best friend when we make friends with it. So in hand analysis, it's called powerlessness, overwhelm, and helplessness.
I resonated with that immediately.
Yeah, and it can go two ways. Like there's two ways it can go. You can be a shrinker when somebody's in authority and you feel that, even if they're not doing anything, you're like, oh, how can I approach that powerful person?
Intimidated.
And then there's a thing called, you can go too much. So to compensate for that, you might have gone, right, I'm going to take my power and right. And I don't know if that's true. I'm just telling you what this is.
Both ways. Absolutely both ways.
This is one of my lessons too. So you can go over the top, or the shrinker. Now, somewhere in the middle place, how you're supposed to flip that around is to own your leadership, own your vision, right? And in hand analysis, we use mythology as well. And Jupiter is the god of gods, and he represents this. It's the trigger finger. Are you too quick to pull the trigger, right? Or can you take the bird's eye view, right? Eagle is the Jupiter's thing.
I love that.
Yeah, take a bird's eye view. Go, oh, I can see from up here. So just step back. So that's one way to call back that power, and you're always going to be. So you're really here. We're really here to be in our lesson. So you're really here to be the powerful leader, right, with a visionary entrepreneur. Look what you've done, Michelle. Like, so 10 years, and you were doing that back then. You've just stepped it up. And the thing with the School of Love is that School of Love community. They love being around people. School of Service, they can take it or leave it, right? I'm School of Service. We love people, but we want our downtime. School of Love cannot be isolated. The wellness community, like, come on.
Yes.
It's School of Love. So that will lead me then to, I want to go really to two of your purposes here, because I wanted to share one, which is because you have a gift marking with this. And this one kind of scares people. It kind of delights people when they find out, and it also scares them if they're not using it. And this is the Apollo star, the Apollo finger. Apollo, the ring finger on the right hand, means you are here to be in the spotlight. You are here to create, to be a creative artist, to be seen by a lot of people. So when I say that to people, they're like, and I'm like, this is what it means. Let's see where you're tracking on that. And if they're hiding out, then I know that, okay, we've got to go and look at some lessons here. What's going on in our school, right? But your Apollo thing, and I remember, so I was thinking today, so Apollo means you're here to be the creative artist, be seen, be applauded, so you can receive the applause. They need to, that Apollo in mythology was Jupiter's favorite son. So you've got to be the favorite, you've got to be mentored, that kind of thing. But all kinds of weird things happen when they don't get enough attention. They don't get enough
What happens? What happens?
It's like jealousy can come up. They can be really have little tantrums, like, I want this, or they'll steal the spotlight in a weird way. You know how you have not, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying sometimes when you have workshops and you'll have people, I do workshops a lot, and somebody will just keep asking questions and it's all done. And I'm like, I bet you've got Apollo, because they're not
because they're trying to get the spotlight back on them. Or they're being curious and asking questions, but it's too much.
And I'm always one for asking for people to ask questions, but when it's gone too far. It's like, and then I have such compassion, because it's like, you haven't found your tribe yet, because you need to find the right audience to hear you, so they can applaud you. Most people, when I do readings for this, kind of 40%, 60% not doing it, 40% So that's
how interesting, because for me, as you know, of course I'm in the spotlight. I've stepped away a little bit, but I never wanted to be in the spotlight. Like I had to do a lot of work to and I can only embrace the spotlight because it's the foundation of it is the wellness community. I couldn't do it on my own, just for me. But because it was a community and I became passionate about that and everybody in it, then I was able to, I got more and more comfortable in the spotlight. Still not 100%, but I do it because of the bigger vision, the bird's eye.
Correct. So you've gone to your lesson and you've got the vision, and then and when you're up on stage, and it does not have to mean you be up on stage or like 24/7.
It just means owning, as you say, owning that sort of
expressing. So I remember 10 years ago when you came to the event, my event, because I have Apollo too. I'm like, I don't know, I can't believe I took 86 women to the Gold Coast.
And I loved that. I couldn't believe that you did. I was like, oh my God, she's so brave.
I don't know. I was naive in a way, but that's the best thing. You came there as a participant. When I came back the next year, you said, I want to be a sponsor and
did.
get up on that stage.
Yeah.
And
I did, yeah. And I was terrified.
You did. I know, I'm getting goosebumps even saying it. And the next year, right,
That's
in front
true.
of, and there was 130 people then.
That's right, it was.
And so the thing is,
terrified. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and I always say, people with this purpose is, one good thing is it's not about you, because when we make it about you, which you don't, it's about being in flow and make it about them, and then it just, boom, you'll get up every day, right? You get up like you do, and you actually created a stage for other people with spotlight to come in.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's, and sorry, I could go on because there's more, because not only do you have that as your purpose, you have a gift marking, which is very Apollo gift marking. So the gift markings, and I've got a book in there that you can go and download, but it's like a double whammy. It's like, Michelle, if you don't remember that you were supposed to be in the spotlight as a leader, I here have a gift marking. And that's just going to amplify the call. But the thing with the gift marking, if you're not doing it, it feels there's a student path, right? And that's
I was going to ask, what happens if you don't do it?
You feel like you're getting rotten tomatoes thrown at you. Remember in the old days, and where you're getting pulled up like you're not good enough on stage. It feels like that. So when somebody says, oh, no, I don't want to go, I know you haven't been enough. So do Toastmasters, do the work that it needs to get you comfortable up there, and then get up there. And don't run off stage when people are clapping for you. Stay there and receive it.
Me. Yeah.
Yes, that's the next step. See, there's different levels, you know, there's different levels. So,
love it.
Because if you don't, you'll go and try and get that applause in a weird place. So, yeah.
I want to know about all these weird places now.
I know.
I love it. So there you go. Now that was just, we don't want Luanne to give away all of her, thank you so much for your beautiful time, Luanne.
Welcome.
That was amazing. So I love how, you know, through the hands you'll also go into how we use our mental energy and stamina, our heart, how we use the heart. It's so in depth.
It is. And it's something that you can always refer back to. That's the thing. You know, you've got to, when times do get challenging, and, you know, it is there. So it's like, I remember that, right?
I love it. And so now you had a beautiful course online last week. Is that still going for people to come and discover it for them?
Yes, it is. So what I've done is, like, there's a masterclass, so they can go and have a look at the free masterclass, how to identify your purpose so you can make a greater impact in the world. You know, if you kind of, and most people I work mostly with women, but some men have taken the course as well. Yeah. And it's like, you know, you're at the precipice. It's like, there's something more calling me, then maybe this is a masterclass for you. Yeah. And from that, you can actually do a home study course to learn your fingerprints. I know, I think it's just, the more people that know their purpose, Michelle, and you know that, you know, it's like, the better the world would be.
The better, because we've been talking on the radio about, and coming from a positive psychology space, that the research clearly shows that those of us that have found meaning, or those of us that feel that our lives are meaningful, you know, actually live longer.
She's frozen.
Yeah, it's all just, it's frozen.
No, you're good. They live longer.
Exactly, live longer, but you know, all of the vital signs are much better for those of us that do have meaning in our lives, and that meaning could be, as we said before, it's just in how you express it. But you know, we are having a crisis of meaning at the moment, you know, following COVID, and so, you know, there's so many pathways. To me, if you haven't found meaning, keep looking. If you found it and lost it, you know, it's an opportunity to start again, and keep looking, because now here's another way, audience, to delve a little deeper into who am I, why am I here, what is my purpose, and you know, and why does that shit keep happening to me? Like you've just tapped into my life lesson there, and you've actually just said a whole bunch of stuff that is all about how I felt during a very long-term relationship, and that ultimately, you know, brought that to an end where I wasn't, you know what my catchphrase was in that relationship? I was not appreciated. I was not getting the applause. I was not, you know, so this is it's so powerful. So, but you know, audience, you can actually come and do Luanne's masterclass just for yourself. But Luanne, you are also a business mentor, and you actually have helped hundreds and hundreds of women to find their purpose in terms of business, and you've actually helped them to build a business around it.
Yes, yes, definitely. So that, and that's the thing, like, so, you know, if you're a coach and you're coaching other people, especially in business coaching or any kind of coaching, if you know what's in their hands, right?
Yes.
You know what their purpose is. So for me in business, I know where they want to go, where the purpose is, and I know what's going to hold them back, which is the lesson. And then we build the foundation. Then all the other gifts in their hands go towards the thing. Like, I've had people come out with their life purpose statement. You know, Gigi, she actually, when I did her hand, she actually put that statement as what she does on her website, right? So it's that clear. But, you know, some people, some coaches are in relationship, you might just want to learn the heart lines. And then you can know, this is the thing I was going to ask you, Michelle, and I hope it's not too personal, but, you know, your school of love and in that relationship, you know, you never got appreciated. And I'm thinking, well, did you put yourself in an emotional, vulnerable state to go?
I can give you a quick little insight into it, and that's not to say that he thought he was.
No, I don't know. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like he thought he was. Exactly, right. So it's interesting. That's always interesting to me about, you know, how we kind of engage and interact with each other. But from my perspective, in the beginning, you know, because I am School of Love, I absolutely throw myself into everything whole bloody hearted, right?
Yes.
I'm bloody down the mud. I'm all boots. I'm in, you know, boot, whatever you call it. I'm in the mud. I'm doing the work. Now, in the beginning, I reckon the first 3 or 4 years, the first couple of years, I was absolutely happy to do that. I did that for everybody I love. But then I started to go, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, what's coming back here? Anything? But you see what happens is I feel like I spoil them, and they get used to being spoiled. And then after that, next couple, but then I was good in expressing that lovingly in the beginning.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Intimately, honestly, really speaking from the heart. And no, by the end, I was really just, as you say, with powerlessness, I was really on the other end of, you know, angry, resentful, jealous, becoming all the mean girl things that I'm not, and but was definitely feeling rejected all the time.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at your hands too again, and your heart line is a romantic idealist heart line, which means you think about your feelings. You got to feel your feelings, and then I just wanted to say something else that I saw there is that you've got a rare marking in there. It's called the board of directors, and so this is what happens with the board of directors. It's a line between your heart line and your headline.
I wondered what that was. That only grew. That's only grown in the last.
I noticed it on your hand. What do you want to know what it means?
Yes, please.
So it means for you to make a decision. It's like you have to get your heart and your head and have a meeting and work it out. Where some people, my heart, that you hear them say, my heart made me do it, or oh, make that decision. Not for you. You've got to get them both on board and have a meeting and then go, right. And so probably you did use it when you left. You went, nah, the heart's not feeling the head. And it wasn't a rash decision. It's like, oh.
The heart has been struggling, though. The heart's been struggling. The head was clear. No, this is, you know.
The heart just had to take it. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you. So,
that's great. I love it. Well, I'm telling you, bloody hell, I love your work.
I love your work, Michelle. Too.
I love your work. Thank you so much for sharing your time and bringing your energy and all of your knowing and knowledge and expertise into this session, my dear goddess, chief goddess on purpose. You are amazing. I'm going to put all the links in to all of how to connect with Luanne, do the masterclass, and take it from there, honestly. And and then Luanne, you can if you come into the group and see, if you've got any questions, everybody, put your questions down there, and Luanne and I will come
love
in
to. Would love to answer some questions. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
thank you,
beautiful.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you for being so open.
Everyone who joined us. We're going to come back and answer your questions. Sorry, darling, for interrupting you.
You're right. No, you're right. I was just saying thank you for being vulnerable, because it is big, like, doing that stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, darling.
Bye.
See you.